Perfect.
Tipsforgamers.com. Welcome in, guys. I'm Dodds, and today we're here to shit up. With that being said, guys, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell if you are brand new, because we're going to show you how to trade for any wide receiver in Madden 20. It doesn't really matter who the wide receiver is. We're going to do this for Madden 21 as well. This is the only place you're going to find this content unless it is stolen from us. We're the ones who invented this stuff, and we're the ones who are going to keep it going. There's no one who's going to beat you in the trade game. That is our promise. There's no one who's going to outsmart you. There's no one, not one channel, there's not one website that is going to teach you more than what we're going to teach you. We're not selling ourselves. We don't have to. You're going to come back whether you like it or not, because we're the freaking best. So with that being said, let's lock into this and let's show you how to kick some ass. So the first things first, guys, you guys always want to start out in preseason. The reason you want to start out in preseason, use custom roster as well. Custom roster is extremely important because if you use real life roster, it's just a pain in the ass and it's old school. We don't do that anymore. We used to suggest doing that and you don't have to do that. So use custom roster. It's really easy. Make sure you're doing the updated custom roster at 3,200 and whatever the hell it is number instead of 2,800 number, because if you're using the 2,800 number or whatever that number is, that's not updated. Okay, so keep that in mind. But make sure you're starting out in preseason, because preseason is extremely important, because now I can game plan what the team needs are. There's no question. We all start out with the same team needs, all these teams. If you start out in the regular season, I cannot game plan or create a plan to help you guys get any wide receivers if you're starting out in the regular season, because the team may pick up guys and every league is different. So keep that in mind. Coach, all this stuff doesn't matter. Your league settings, make sure the roster protection settings are appropriate to you guys, and I'll just show you here. And I would turn injury off just until you get the trades to go through, because if the guys are injured, you can't actually trade for them. And this one I really hate, the minimum roster stuff. Pull that off. If you're wanting to do the SAR, also don't be doing this in people's leagues who are in the accelerated clock. Get the crap out of here. I hate that crap. But anyways, don't do this to people's leagues who do not want the SAR. Respect people's leagues. Now I'm going to use the Bengals. Why am I using the Bengals? Well, it really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to free agency. There's one player in the free agency that most of you guys need to utilize. Okay, a lot of you guys are going to ask us too in this video, how do I trade for Hollywood Brown? We've already showed that. We have it on our website and we have a video on it. It works the same way. I don't think that it's changed whatsoever. So one guy to use is AB. Now I want to give a shout out to a guy named Hunter Passman. Okay, he actually he's one of our subs, and the guy is getting really good at the SAR. In fact, him and I were talking about how to trade for cornerbacks and how to do the SAR for cornerbacks and wide receivers. He gave me his foundings. His foundings were quite interesting. It's pretty close to what we did in the beginning of the year, but AJ Brown got a bump. So the SAR is going to evolve. And why is the SAR going to evolve out through the season? Well, the SAR evolves through the season because of the fact that guys get increases or decreases on their overall. Okay, that's something that's very important. Another thing is you want to make sure that you're picking up guys that have trade value. Now, some of the biggest trade value that you're going to find is halfbacks here. So I'd grab like a Jay Ajayi. Now, I don't want to pick up all the best of the best guys, and the reason is because I want to give you guys opportunities to excel, even if you don't have, you don't have the ability to pick up all these guys here. Let's say you're in a heavy user league and they're picking up all these different guys, and the SAR is appropriate for your league, and they allow the SAR, which they're trying to make it competitive, whatever the case may be. You may have to go with a guy like Jeremy Hill. Now, Jeremy Hill is a perfect halfback to go with, because Jeremy Hill started out in the season with a higher overall, and through the year, Madden decreased his overall due to his playing. They just decreased it. But one thing that didn't decrease was his trade value. So he's a perfect secret trade beast. Okay, he's a trade weapon. So you utilize him. Another thing is D tackles. Okay. These D tackles are more profitable than you think. Hage Man, what a name. The guy is absolutely huge. Look at him go. So you're looking at anything above, 67 would definitely be the cutoff. But you're looking at 68 overall is going to be a big thing. Cornelius Washington is actually more profitable than you actually think he is. Now, you may not even get an opportunity to pick him up, but a 68 overall to 60 overall defensive tackles, not very hard. Most people get rid of them in your guys' leagues because they really don't understand how much value they actually have. So keep that in mind. And I want to stress this upon you guys. Be perfect. You have us in your corner. You have pro gamers in your corner that we're the only ones that do what we do in our industry. Follow our system. Okay, do not stray away from the system, and here's why. Because if you stray away at all and someone is in your league who thinks like I do, that guy's going to smoke you over time if you're not perfect in you don't have to be perfect, okay? I don't want to say that word, but you need to be precise. You need to constantly have backup plans. We want to show you A, B, and C on how to crush your opponent because you want to win. Not winning, I don't want people to not win on our channel. It drives me nuts. I want you to win, 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 win. Our motto is don't just play the game, own the game, point blank. So you need to trade for all these guys in the preseason because you can do things in the preseason, stack your guys' team for the regular season, and that way you guys can do the SAR and you guys can be fantastic. So there's two guys that you can't get around, okay? And you can get these guys back too, and that's DK Metcalf. He's one of the guys. DK Metcalf, I actually like putting him a tight end. I love him in my user league. He's a big frame guy. He's young. He's fast. The one problem with him, okay, and if you're playing in an intense league, he's injury prone. There's no way around it. And it's not like old Madden where you could upgrade it, where you had more control of the upgrading. You don't have control of that. It's up to Madden. You just pick packages now because they got lazy, and it's super frustrating. So with DK Metcalf, they like right tackle. I could try Bobby Hart. I don't know. They'll show a little bit there. But here, fullback is huge too, because I bet you they actually grade out fullback at a higher level than you think. Price, what do we got for Price? He's actually a yellow interest. Another guy I'd like to use too. I would like to try and use fullback. Why would I like to use a fullback? Well, the reason is because fullbacks are easy to trade for. It's just the way it is. They're easy to trade for. If you can get good value for them, well, it's perfect to use them. So Jay Ajayi, you dirty dogs. For example, here I'm going to show you. So if I pull that fullback off, you actually see a pretty big decrease. So what are they gauging that fullback off? So you could basically see what the team values that fullback at. What about a 5th round pick of next year? Next year's picks are less valuable than this year's picks. So trade away next year's picks before you trade away current year picks, because you can trade back into that with your current year picks and then triple, double, at least double your draft picks by trading in the draft. Trading in the draft is one of the most amazing times to trade your draft picks because you're going to get top dollar even in user leagues because people are draft happy. So utilize that. Utilize human emotion of what they like. Okay, so 5th round pick is kind of where they're looking at, possibly even, let's say, maybe, I bet you if we hit the 4th, okay, so they still value that fullback higher than that 4th round pick. So that's interesting. That's something to keep in mind. So what I could do here is I could do a 3rd round pick, but I know that since that shows yellow interest, they're going to want more back. So what if I did a 5th round pick? Could I possibly sneak out with a 5th round pick? What about at least a 7th round pick? Okay, so I got that to go through it now. Here's something that I could try and do as well. Okay, because something that I saw is that, wait a minute, they dropped fullback off of their... You guys are killing me. Will this work? So if I pad onto here, let's say I just use this guy then too, I just pad on. I just want you guys to take as much advantage as you guys can here. And I'm just showing you, extended value. So Anderson, you're not going to really get much with Anderson. You could use other guys on the free agency that are better. Anderson's not going to do very much for you. There's other guys that'll show interest that, are just better. So I got the 3rd round pick back, or got a 3rd round pick back. I don't know if it's my actual 3rd round pick. The other guy, these two guys you have to use, Mecole Hardman. You could get these guys back as well too. But I'm going to go after Tyreek Hill. I'm going to pick up Tyreek Hill at the end of all of this. So Mecole Hardman, so I'd go for center too, because they're going to like Trey Hopkins more than likely. Yeah, they liked him quite a bit here. I'm going to go middle linebacker too, and I'd use Jermaine Pratt, but I would pick up a guy in free agency. I would use a guy in free agency before I would use Pratt, but I'm just doing it for the sake of this video. Now you have 2 other options here, and I want to give you 2 options on what you can do. First one you can go AJ Brown. Now in some leagues, he may be easy to trade for. Offline mode, when we were trying it, he still wasn't that easy to trade for. Some guys found that he's easier to trade for in offline mode, and I think it honestly is dependent on your team to a degree. But AJ Brown, for a majority of you guys, is going to be extremely hard to trade for. In fact, he's going to be well, let's just be frank. He's going to be impossible to trade for. In fact, let me just show you. 1st, 2nd, and AB, you're still not getting him. So how can we capitalize this? If we really needed to get A.J. Brown for this, how can we capitalize on this? Well, you know, from here, I'd probably go a first and a third, and they probably won't do that. They'll probably settle on a first and either a sixth or a seventh. One of the two, I'm just guessing based upon how the CPU is reacting. Let's go, did I go sixth? I can't even remember. I think I did fifth. All right, so first and a sixth worked. Okay, so now that I did the SAT, that's what I just did. I did the stack, and now I'm doing the trade. I stacked AB. We're going to utilize AB being on the free agency. He's one of the most valuable guys to pick up. A lot of people are going to ask us about Hollywood Brown. How we showed it previously still works. So go to our website or go to our YouTube video, and you'll be able to see how to trade for Hollywood Brown. So now what I'm going to do, let me see. What about these two guys? What do you got for me? Okay. So if I use one of these guys here, which is interesting, Billings is not showing green interest here, which is great, which is fantastic because I'd rather keep Billings anyways, right? So if I use another guy, let's say if I go to left outside linebacker, why would I not use Nick? Because he's 26 years old. He's a 73 overall. His overall is well within the aspects of getting a first-round pick for. Someone's going to show green interest. In fact, you can go to the offseason and trade for him. Use him to trade in the free agency signing period offseason, unless he's coming up on a contract. I don't know. Or you could do the reset technique anyways and keep him on your team just for trade purposes. But even if I pull him up now, which, you know, Nick's pretty good, you're seeing that it's still hard. So the team is still struggling to get rid of AJ Brown. So I'm going to actually switch, and I'm going to play a trick on the CPU's mind. So I'm going to do a position trade at this moment in time. So I'm going to use a Washington as well for this trade. And then I need about a yellow interest is what I need. So, and that's where a perfect guy right here is Jeremy Hill. So he shows yellow interest. Could I get a 5th round pick? Possibly. But I might have to walk out using a 7th, or I may not even be able to get him or get the 7th with him. So I'll have to keep that in mind. You know, a lot of this is just playing by ear and just kind of messing around. So right here, they said no. Okay. They said no again. I should have used what's his name. Let's go not Washington. Let's go Wren. Will this work? That worked. Okay, so just switching up the D tackles is a perfect example. Sometimes they like a certain D tackle more than the other D tackles, and that's just the way it works. Could be development, could be multiple different things, or it could be nothing. The CPU is just stupid. That could be one of the things. Now, you don't have to use AJ Brown. You could actually keep Antonio Brown on your team, AB, and then you could go after Debo. Now, Debo may be hard for some of you guys to trade for, depending on what team you're using. You could use AB, do the SAT. You could not, or you could just try and do D tackle as well. Now, here, I'd see if these two guys work. Now, they don't work. Even if I offer them up, it's still just not a lot here. So I'm gonna have to use Billings. And so I would use Billings. Another guy I would use too. Let's go to left guard. I did pick up some left guards here, so I do have, oh man, who would be the most valuable out of here? So Cordy Glenn is actually not the guy to use. So they only have $1.89 million left in cap room. So trading them a player that's going to work is kind of going to be a headache. So I'm thinking more than likely it's going to be a 3rd round pick is what I'm thinking here. So I try a 4th round pick of next year. I'm using next year picks. It might even be a 2nd round pick. Let's go to a 3rd round pick. Try that. That's not working. Let's go 2nd round pick. And then here, let me ask for a 6th round back. Always protect yourself. Ask for picks back. Make sure you're getting the correct value for your player. 7th round pick. Even though it's a 7th round pick, I'm gauging and I'm knowing that, okay, now if they accept that for this, I know I got exactly my worth. I couldn't have gotten any more. I only could have gotten less. So I got the perfect amount. So I picked up Deebo Samuels. So now that I picked up all these guys, I have Mecole Hardman, I have DK Metcalf, I have AJ Brown, and I have Deebo Samuels. I'm going to now go to the regular season. Make sure none of your guys are injured, because if they're injured, this won't work. Okay, so now that we're in the regular season, this is the time to do the SAR. So this is a perfect time to go and use that. So Tyreek Hill, he's huge. I really do think that Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman would be amongst the best safeties in the league. I really do. I'd love to put him at free safety and play with him as a user at free safety, and I would imagine that it would just be absolutely scary at what you would do. So here, I'm going to ask for the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd round pick, because I'm going to give him quite a bit of value, and more than likely, most of these guys are going to show green interest. If they don't show green interest, you'll have to, work around that. So I'm going to keep AJ Brown, because AJ Brown was actually quite hard to trade for. So I'd use Deebo Samuel, and I have to use DK Metcalf or Hardman. These two guys you have to use, Hardman and DK. It could be Deebo or A.J. Brown. Now, Deebo and A.J. Brown are the point man to this, okay? Man. So they must have picked up some kind of wide receiver here because oh man, they should just, that's crazy. That is actually crazy that they didn't. Okay, fine. I'm just going to have to walk out using a first-round pick, whatever. I'll get more back for that. So now that I stacked them on the team, you can look and see, oh, did I stack them? Yeah, you stacked them. That's great. So now go to the free agency right now. And you don't have to pick up the best of the best guys. You can be a little bit greedy with this. Don't be too greedy, but you can definitely be greedy. I would not give up Robinson. Why would you not give him up? His size, his speed, his age, with his overall combo. It's not gonna be a guy you really want to get rid of. Allen Hurns, definitely a guy I don't mind getting rid of. I could use, Rashard Matthews. You don't have to use him. He's one of the top guys. I'll use Wims. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to add these guys up. Let's go to the Chiefies, and then let's ask. I bet you I could get a 5th round pick for these guys, just even though they're red interest, doesn't really matter. I could probably even get a 4th round pick for him here, but you're going to see what's his name is gone. Okay, so be smart with how you're doing this. Just be smart. Make sure you follow the steps correctly. I know there's a lot of steps here, but there's Tyreek Hill. They even give you Sammy Watkins as well. I'd pick up Sammy Watkins and I'd trade him away if I were you guys. But this is how you pick up Tyreek Hill and many other wide receivers as well. Hope this helped you guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Click the notification bell. Head to our website for more Madden content to join our Madden group. Make sure to get merged up, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Take it easy, boys. I'm out.